Today was the first day of pads at Commanders training camp, and I've got 5 takeaways to share with y'all here on the Commanders Report. But before I get into those takeaways, do me a favor, click that subscribe button right now if you love the Washington Commanders, you're super excited for this new era of Commanders football, and you want to join our family here at the Commanders Report. We got daily training camp coverage here, so if you want to become an expert on your Commanders for the 2023 season, this is the spot for you. Now let's get into my takeaways here from the first day of padded practice. And my number one takeaway here is that the O-line is still continuing to struggle, both in run blocking and in pass protection. Now, I've been saying for weeks that my biggest concern with this Washington Commanders roster is the O-line. I do not think that this is a very good unit, plain and simply. I think on paper it's one of the least talented units in the National Football League. And if Washington wants to really solidify themselves as a good offensive line this year, they've got a ton to prove. There's a bunch of question marks, starting with Charles Leno Jr., who many people wanted to replace this year. Then you get to guys like Sadiq Charles, who hasn't played much in the league. Nick Gates has been injured his entire career pretty much. You got a rookie in Ricky Stromberg. We have no idea what he's going to be as a pro. And then also Sam Cosmi, a very tall guard. It's going to be very interesting to see how he does being that tall because he doesn't have the leverage advantage. And then you give a big contract to Andrew Wiley at right tackle when he's just fine. He's not that fantastic. So I'm looking at this offensive line, and it was a concern going in, and it was a concern in the early days of training camp when the D-line was just kicking their butts. And I wanted to see what it was like in pads first before I made my final judgment. And today, according to the reports, it wasn't very pretty for the Commanders' offensive line, with an exception here for an undrafted free agent, Mason Brooks. Now, Mason is somebody that could absolutely earn himself a spot on this Commanders roster if he continues to impress. He's been impressive throughout the first couple days in camp, and he was very impressive this morning when the pads went on, and I'm super excited to see what this kid is going to look like in preseason action, because if you can get a diamond in the rough here as an undrafted free agent to come in and maybe even play left guard or maybe right guard, depending on what works along the offensive line, This offensive line, plain simply, needs to put the best 5 linemen on the field. Is Sadiq Charles that guy at left guard? I guess we will see. But hey, man, if Mason Brooks continues to show out at practice, it wouldn't shock me whatsoever to see him move up the depth chart here in the weeks to come here before the start of the 2023 campaign. But what do you guys think? Let me know down there in the comments section. Who will be the starting left guard for the Commanders in 2023? Will it be Sadiq Charles? Will it be Nick Gates? Will it be Chris Paul? Could it be Mason Brooks? Let me know who you guys think down in the comments section, because that is a big question mark for me. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. Take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. Then my third takeaway from the first day of padded practice is that Sam Howell has definitely found his 2 favorite targets in the passing game, starting with Terry McLaurin. I talked about Terry on my winners video yesterday, and he has been absolutely cooking every single member of the Steelers, or not the Steelers, the Commanders secondary. And Terry is somebody that I'm super excited to watch play this year, because I think that he's had a bad go of it in the National Football League when it comes to consistent quarterback play. He hasn't really had that rock at the quarterback position throughout his career, despite the fact that I think he's probably a top 10 wide receiver in this league. If Sam Howell can prove that he is a legit starting quarterback this year, Terry's probably going to have the best year of his career, and I cannot wait to see what he does. Had a really nice catch at practice today along the sideline. And then Jahan Dotson, second-year wide receiver out of Penn State University. Reminds me a lot of Stephon Diggs. Had multiple third down catches today for first downs from Sam Howell, and he got a lion's share of the targets today from Sam, and it seems like that connection between these second-year players is definitely there at this point in training camp. So if I'm looking at the Commanders' offense and their passing game heading into 2023, I'm looking at Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson as a dynamic duo of weapons to watch out for, and one of the more underrated duos in the National Football League. And for a guy like Sam Howell, going into his second season here, having weapons like this, like Terry McLaurin, who's a top 10 guy in my opinion, like Jahan Dotson, who I think could be a top 10 guy throughout his career, I think that's absolutely fantastic for somebody that's developing to have open wide receivers and a nice clean target to throw to. And, as long as the offensive line can keep him clean, and I'm hoping that happens this season, I am super excited to see what Sam Howell can do in the second year as an NFL pro and in the first year as the Commanders starter. Now, I got more takeaways to go over here in just a second, but if you need more burgundy and gold in your closet, you can get it today with this Commanders t-shirt combo from our friends at Fanatics. Go to chatsports.com/Commanders combo to get this awesome pair of t-shirts. You get that short sleeve burgundy with the Commanders helmet on there, then the white long sleeve. I think it's really forgiving for these hotter months, in the August, and we're getting into August now. It's getting super hot. So if you want, if you like long sleeve t-shirts like I do, but you don't want to wear burgundy or black or any of those other colors, the white one really works out well for me. So you can go chatsports.com/Commanders combo. That's our link. If you use that, Fanatics will know that we sent you. Then the fourth takeaway that I took from today's practice was that Dyami Brown is winning deep, and it's looking like he's going to be a legit deep threat for Eric Bieniemy, Sam Howell, and this Commanders offense here in 2023. Now, I was a big fan of Dyami Brown when he was coming out of North Carolina, right? He had a big season coming out with Sam Howell throwing him the football, and it seems like that connection is definitely still there. So if I were Eric Bieniemy, I would spread these wide receivers out. I would get those top four guys, Terry McLaurin, Curtis Samuel, Jahan Dotson, and Dyami Brown on the field at the same time, and I would make defenses try to cover that. That's going to be extremely difficult to do because all these guys can get open. All these guys run good routes. You can do multiple things with Curtis Samuel as well. You can bring him in as a potential running back. That's what they did a little bit last year with him. I think there's a bunch of possibilities when it comes to the receiving weapons that Eric Bieniemy has to work with, and I cannot wait to see what it looks like. But in the early part of camp here, Dyami Brown is absolutely winning deep. He's even beating guys like Kendall Fuller and Emmanuel Forbes, the two top corners on this Commanders roster. And I'm super excited to see what Brown is going to be able to do here in 2023 with his guy, Sam Howell, throwing the football. Now, I got one more take to share with you guys, but before I reveal that one, go ahead and click that thumbs up icon right now to help us out here at the Commanders Report. We put a ton of work to give you guys comprehensive Commanders news and rumors coverage, so your support would be much, much appreciated if you click that thumbs up icon. And then my final takeaway is that a little bit of a fun one here. Eric Bieniemy is bringing the shovel pass from Kansas City over to the nation's capital. Now, Eric is somebody that is known to be a pretty creative guy. That Kansas City offense is known for how creative it is. And one of their staples, especially towards the goal line and in short area situations, short yardage situations, is that shovel pass. It's kind of been their trademark with Travis Kelce taking it in for 6 there with the easy underhand shovel pass. They tried it out at practice today. There was a fumble. They tried it again. It was more successful that time, but I'm looking forward to seeing that shovel pass. Now, the shovel pass has been tried by a lot of teams, and it seems like, at least statistically, the Chiefs are the only team in the National Football League that can run it to perfection and consistently have success with it. But I'm excited to see if Eric Bieniemy can bring that success here to the nation's capital when it comes to this kind of play. Now, when it comes to Eric Bieniemy, the new offensive coordinator, how are you feeling about him? Do you think that he's a top 5 offensive coordinator in the National Football League right now? Not talking about offensive play callers here, offensive coordinators. There is a difference here. So let me know down there in the comments section. Give me a yes if you think he's top 5, or give me a no if you think he's not. Now, before I wrap up here, I do want to say that Jamin Davis was back in practice today in pads, and it was great to see him out there. It was great to see him move around with the team because the Commanders are expecting a lot from Jamin this year, entering his 3rd year. And, he showed some really great stuff towards the end of last season. I'm expecting him to kind of take that momentum that he had from last season and really run with it. I think he's an athletic freak. He's got long arms. I think this is the year he becomes a true alpha type number 1 linebacker, and I'm super excited to see him play. Now, that'll be it for today's show, guys. Really do appreciate all the support. Make sure you click that subscribe button for me for more Commanders news and rumors coverage. And then if you want more Commanders coverage on Twitter, on social media, you can find me at Sperry_Hogs. Really do appreciate all the support, guys. I will see you guys later. And as always, hail to the Commanders.